In the crisp morning air of February 2013, a teenager named Duck awoke to an urgent rapping on his door. It was an ordinary day until it wasn't. Just the night before, Duck had engaged in yet another intense argument with his parents about his future. They were set on him attending university and pursuing a traditional career, while Duck had dreams of becoming a drummer. The fight left everyone angry, and as Duck reluctantly opened his door, he was met not by his parents, but by two strange men in ordinary clothing who claimed to be police officers. "Do you know this person?" they asked, referencing a name Duck had never heard. They claimed the individual was in trouble, and that Duck was his accomplice. Panic surged through him as they insisted he accompany them for questioning. Despite the alarm bells ringing in his head, he complied, not realizing he was about to be thrust into a world of deception and fear. The men took Duck to a nondescript jeep, explaining they wanted to spare him the embarrassment of being seen in a police car. If you like our videos, so hit the subscribe button and like this video. Yet, as they drove past the local police station and into a secluded compound with a tall green gate, Duck's dread deepened. He quickly realized he had been deceived. These men were not police officers at all. Instead, he was being taken to a facility designed to correct behavioral problems, a place known for its harsh practices aimed at controlling troubled teenagers. Duck's experience was a product of a larger societal panic gripping China in the early 2000s. As internet usage skyrocketed among the youth, parents who had grown up in a pre-digital era struggled to understand their children's fascination with online gaming and social media. The competition for academic success intensified, with parents viewing good grades as the only path to a successful future. Reports of internet-related tragedies fueled a moral panic. In 2005, a judge in Beijing declared that over 90% of crimes committed by minors were linked to internet use, a statement that was alarmingly exaggerated, considering only a fraction of the population was online at that time. By 2006, internet addiction was officially recognized as a severe social issue, and the Chinese government declared it a public health crisis. In response, authorities enacted draconian measures. Teenagers were banned from internet cafes, which were periodically raided. In 2008, internet addiction was classified as a clinical disorder, with vague definitions that allowed for the broad categorization of any undesirable behavior as addiction. This environment paved the way for the emergence of abusive boot camps, where many parents would send their children in hopes of curing them of their so-called addiction. By 2006, the first boot camps began to appear, modeled after military-style rehabilitation programs for drug addicts. Colonel Liu, a former military officer, pioneered the first center, arguing that internet addiction mirrored substance abuse in its destructiveness. The solution? Harsh discipline, military drills, and a regimented environment designed to rehabilitate these so-called addicted youths. As the narrative around internet addiction took hold, a notorious psychiatrist named Yang Yongxin became a central figure in this movement. His facility was praised in state-sponsored media, and parents flocked to him, eager for solutions. Yang introduced his own controversial treatment method, brainwaking, which involved a mix of medication and electric shock therapy. Despite a lack of scientific backing, Yang's methods gained traction among desperate parents. When Duck arrived at the camp, he found himself subjected to a grueling routine designed to break his spirit. Mornings began at 7 a.m. with mandatory exercises and drills that felt more like punishment than rehabilitation. With no contact from the outside world, he quickly realized that he was trapped in a system designed to control and suppress rather than heal. Duck observed the harsh reality of life in the camp. The environment fostered a hierarchy among detainees, where older students often bullied the newcomers. The guards turned a blind eye to the abuse, encouraging detainees to enforce discipline among themselves. Those who complied with the guards' demands could gain privileges, like extra food or reduced punishment. Despite the torment, Duck was assigned to a therapist who seemed to genuinely want to help him. Through in-depth conversations, Duck found some solace and clarity about his relationship with his parents. However, the trauma of being locked away without due cause remained with him long after he left. Meanwhile, Uncle Yang continued his notorious practices. His treatment sessions often involved public humiliation, where patients were criticized in front of their families, accompanied by dramatic music that added to their shame. His infamous Room 13 became synonymous with abuse, where patients were subjected to prolonged electric shocks under the guise of treatment. Former patients reported unimaginable pain, likening the experience to torture. The effects of Yang's methods were devastating, with many suffering severe psychological trauma long after their release. Despite growing public outrage and government scrutiny, Uncle Yang managed to evade full accountability, rebranding his methods and continuing to operate his facility for years. By 2017, as public awareness grew about the abusive practices at these camps, reports surfaced of physical abuse, neglect, and even deaths. High-profile cases of mistreatment prompted a national outcry, yet many parents remained undeterred, believing these camps were their only hope for saving their children from the demon of internet addiction. Duck's story is just one of many that reveal the darker side of China's reaction to a rapidly changing digital landscape. While internet addiction remains a topic of concern, the methods employed to combat it have often been more damaging than the behaviors they aimed to correct. The need for better understanding, support, and resources is paramount, as the struggle between tradition and modernity continues to unfold in China's complex society. As Duck reflects on his experience, he realizes that the battle for acceptance and understanding between him and his parents is ongoing. The scars from his time at the camp run deep, but he hopes that by sharing his story, he can help others avoid the same fate and foster a better dialogue about the challenges facing today's youth in an increasingly digital world. Share your thoughts and ideas in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more interesting content, and click the bell to get updates on our latest videos.